Natali Nate G. Carbone. It named me after my father's brother, who would be my uncle. He was born February 6, 1928, 623 Coffeen Street, Watertown, New York. When my younger brother Donald was born, I had to be somewhere around 3 years old, 4 years old. And I remember the doctor delivering the baby, and my mother let out she was in pain when the baby was born. Well, I have to say they were a little smarter than me. They were. Yeah, they enjoyed a good time. They had a good personality. I went to Boone Street for my elementary. I enjoyed, school was a lot of fun in those days. And I enjoyed spelling the most. We were baptized at St. Anthony's Church on Arsenal Street in Watertown, and had my first communion and my confirmation there. The best thing that happened was that I didn't cook. Seriously, my mother cooked every Sunday. We all ate together, and the big meal on Sunday was at noontime. And most times it would be soup, but most times it would be macaroni, cutlets, meatballs, salad. A lot of preparation was made by my mother and my sister. Cookies, baked goods, special meals, big meals, soup, macaroni, meats. Now an Italian in me, if you would pronounce it Carbone, I think it would be cold.
Yeah, that's it.
Carbone. Yeah. Well, my father, my mother used to tell us about her father, who was a baker in Italy, and then he moved to Argentina, and then moved back to Italy. My father was, his parents was a produce peddler, had a horse and cart. His father, which would be my father's either father or grandfather, fought in the Italian, fought for the Vatican when Garibaldi was trying to unify Italy, which would be around maybe 68 or 1858, somewhere in that area. Other than being short. Oh, my wife, met her at a March of Dimes dance, 1949. She was a dime deb. And I was introduced to her with a group of people, and she didn't remember me. Then I used to see her at Whelan's drugstore. And the more I saw her, the more I liked her. And that's how I first met her. Well, my wife and I together, we had 7 children, lovely children. I joined the Navy when I was 17. Had some good experiences on the Navy. I enjoyed playing football in high school. Played football for Red and Black. And raising a family, I'd say, is the most. We have more material, much more material things. I grew up, like a lot of other people, in the Depression. Hardly anybody had anything, so you did the best with what you had, and the fact that you didn't know that anybody else had anything more didn't bother you. You had a good time, played a lot outside, much more outside than the kids do today. People today, myself included, we get wrapped up in television, and I don't think the kids play as much as they used to. We had a gang of 7 kids. We all grew up. I have a friend today who probably is, I've had as a boyhood, as a friend of 76 years. We all grew up within a block of each other, and we all hung around together, and we played together. One of the kids had polio. One of the kids was slightly retarded, but that didn't stop us from getting them involved in every game we played. They always were involved in the games we played. What world events?
Yeah.
Oh, perhaps World War II as I was growing up.
Cup of coffee, cup of tea,
No,
with
thanks.
a scone,
No, thanks.
ice
man.
cream sandwich.
No, thanks.
Nothing?
I got something waiting with Nancy.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, besides eating, well, in those days, I forgot to tell you, what was very precious, they visited, neighbors visited. They didn't have television. So, and most of them came from Italy, and they enjoyed getting together with their friends because they were able to get stories from where they were born, the old country, and any news, so forth. Teacher. I was a life insurance salesman for 5 years. How did I pick it? Well, at the time, the job that I had, I was making peanuts at the New York Air Brake, and I was approached by a sales manager. He said, "How would you like to get into sales?" And I liked sales because I worked in grocery stores and so forth. Anyway, that's how I got started. I believe in God, your family, and your church. Oh, we used to a lot of picnics, and just getting together at the meals, being together at the meals. My mother made me. She had some wooden chairs. I was a young kid. Well, I don't know how old I was, and I always got stuck with painting them. I'd say, well, how about my brother? Why don't you let him paint? She said, no, nobody as good as you. He snockered me on those. No, I can't. Just an average. Oh, the other thing I remembered, everybody in our neighborhood growing up had furniture in the parlor. Nobody could go in the parlor except the Pope and the President of the United States. We couldn't go in. Once in a while, when their company would go, that's where they would go. But as far as that was off limits for us. She was a beautiful woman, inside and out. A very compassionate person. Excellent cook. I mean excellent. She made veal cutlets that nobody could make. She was a good baker, always baked bread, like a lot of the other mothers in those days. Tip-top bread was a rare commodity in our days. We never bought bread, it was always baked. But she was an excellent cook and a good mother, a hard-working mother. He enjoyed discussing politics. Loved to talk about politics. One story. One time when my brothers, the three of us and my father were talking politics. And then one of my brothers broke off and got in talking about the baseball. How are the Yankees doing? And my father got mad. He said, well, I can't use the Italian words he used. You know, enjoyed people very much.
What about your brother Carmen?
Excellent brother, as was Donald. Excellent brothers. He was a good, smart guy. And he was in the U.S. Air Force, was a staff sergeant. And he worked, he was a supervisor working on, I think it was either B-24, there were bomber airplanes, B-17s. And one of them, I think, happened to be the Enola Gay.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, he knew nothing about it at the time. And he, had he gone to college, he could have been an excellent accountant or any field that he wanted to get into. But he, when he came out of the service, he worked at the air brake. And then he got the job as a county purchasing agent, which he held for many years till he retired. But a great brother. Donald was younger and smart enough to go to college. We were all probably smart enough, but he decided to go to college. Before he went to college, before he went in the Army, see, Carbone was in World War II. Donald was in the Korean War. And he went to Central City Business Institute in Syracuse. Then he went into the Army. And when he came out, he went to Rider College. And he was an accountant, and he was real good at it. He ended up working for Stebbins Engineering. He worked for the Internal Revenue and Stebbins Engineering. Vicky married, she was her childhood sweetheart. She married John Bova. And in those days, girls worked a lot in the department stores. She worked at Montgomery Ward. And then she and her husband, they owned a little grocery store out in Burville. And after that, he ended up in the vacuum cleaner business, and she stayed home after. My father and mother came from a small village in the province. The village was named Sonopoli, Reggio Calabria, Italy. That's more towards the toe of Italy. They came over to the United States in 1921. My father was 18, my mother was 19. And they came because his two older brothers were here and had a grocery store. So my father, like I say, they were young. I think he had $100. They came over on the SS Argentina.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
I think anyway, they came up, and he learned the shoe repair business as a youngster. During World War I, he was 14 years old, or 15, too young for the service, but they needed workers up in northern Italy. So in 1914 or 15, he went up there on the train. It's quite an experience, first time coming out of a little village, traveling on a train up north, and he did work for the government. I don't know what it was, but that was his part in World War I. Anyway, he was a good salesman himself. Then he opened up his own shoe repair business, sold shoes and repaired them.